What's up, beautiful people? Welcome or welcome back to my lovely wife's channel, A Purposeful Pursuit. Obviously, I'm not Crystal, but I am her wife, Ricky. And I am here to just steal the channel for a little bit because she asked me to do a video based off of one that she's done before. And so she wanted to give it a male's perspective, a husband's perspective, because the title of the one that she sent me was Christian's Man Perspective of a Godly Wife, or in other words for those is what does a man want when he's looking for a wife, okay? And obviously we talking about from a godly perspective, a Christian perspective, because that's who we are. That is the lens in which we see things through. And so I'm gonna give it to you just like that, okay? Now the fun thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you some character traits that are necessary, I would say, universally, but then I'm gonna give you some specific things that I believe will apply to a specific person, okay? Because I mean, I am who I am, therefore I like what I like. However, I can give you my experience to let you know how it kind of flows for every particular man, okay? And so let's go ahead and get into it. So one of the ones that she even said, which I greatly believe in, which I'm gonna say this one first, is somebody that is not judgmental. That goes a long way. And quite honestly, if you open the book, okay, when I mean the book, I mean the Bible. I was looking for it. It's probably back there. Yeah, it's back there, not up here. That is what it is, okay? There's therefore no condemnation for those that are in Christ Jesus. Jesus didn't come to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. So again, it's just in the word. So let's just live out what's in the word, okay? So yes, don't be judgmental, largely because there are a lot of things that will happen in a lifetime, right? Specifically in a marriage that, you know, we're gonna get some things wrong, we as husbands, right? We're gonna get some things wrong, and we're gonna get some things right, and your future spouse will get some things wrong, he'll get some things right, but at the end of the day, what he needs to know is that you are with him, that you are for him, that even when he gets it wrong, you won't leave him and try to go towards the next popular opinion, right? Because truth be told, no man really likes to feel that, right? Even if we're wrong, it's cool to be wrong, but let's work through the solution. Don't jump to what he said, she said, and then apply it to what we gonna do. No, whoa. How we gonna let an outside voice, an outside opinion, infringe upon what we have going on in our home? That's not the desire. However, being non-judgmental is a way in which it will keep you in the right mind, with the right heart, and with the right mindset, so that when things come, the highs to lows, you'll be consistent throughout, okay? So just hold on to that, okay? Put it in your front pocket. Don't even put it in your back pocket, because I don't want to get smushed, okay? And so the second thing that she said, which I also love, that I'm going to give you some of the things that I believe from a male's perspective, husband perspective, is that to be supportive. Support goes a long way, and you could be supportive in so many ways, right? You could be hands-on and you'll support. Let's just say he's about to start a business and you're like, oh man, I would love to help. What can I help to do to write? Do you need me to do accounting? Do you need me to do marketing? Do you need me to do your social media, right? There's that support. And then there's always the other support of, I'm rooting you on, I'm cheering for you, baby, I'm here for you. And that goes a long way too. At the end of the day, cheerleaders cheer football teams. Cheerleaders cheer basketball teams. It's been a thing, right? So just keep that thing going. Support is one of those things that it's known when it's true and it's known when it's not, right? So you can't fake support. Support is either you're supportive or if you're not. And if you're not supportive about a specific thing, you should be clear about why, right? You may be skeptical and you could have good reasons of your skepticism. I don't know about that. Share that clearly, but then do it in a loving way, but in a way in which you share why, okay? But you don't do it in a reason so that you would change his mind, but you are letting him know what you and how you feel about a certain thing. And at the end of the day, I believe that you can hear from God is what you would say to him, right? Because this is the encouraging side after, such a blow. But I believe that you hear from God. I'm here with you, I'm here for you, and I'm gonna support the fact that you can hear from God. Leave it just like that and let me, if I'm the one that's receiving information. Do what's necessary to go forward, okay? The third one I'm gonna say is loving, okay? And that may, in some circles, can go without saying, but it needs to be said. And I don't just mean like fairy tale love, but I do mean the type of love that's in the word, right? That's non-judgmental, that's giving the advantage, not taking the advantage, that seeks to give, you know, just like Jesus did. You know, for God so loved the world. What did he do? There was an action. He gave his only begotten son. So love is not just a word, but it's an action that is done to show how love can be received, can be expected, and things like that. And, you know, it goes a long way. And love is one of those things as well that you just can't fake. You can't fake your love. Either you have your love, you don't have your love, you show your love in this way, or you don't, okay? So I'm gonna just leave that right there. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so loving. But then on top of that, right, and this is like a fun one because, man, should I do this on the back end? No, I'm gonna do it on this end. Somebody that can hear from God as well, okay? What are the surprise of that? A godly wife, a godly woman from a godly man's perspective. We want to know that we have somebody that can hear from God. And even if you feel like, oh, that's not as strong as I wanted to be, or not as, you know, solidified as I wanted to be, cool, we can work through that. And quite honestly, I have a journal that you can do that will allow for you to talk to God, hear from God, but then record the words that you heard from God. I'll put a link down below so you can get that. That's on Amazon. But nonetheless, I'm saying all that to say, we want to know that you all can hear from God, because things are gonna come. Things are gonna happen in a marriage. Things are gonna happen in your life. But being a godly man, we want to know that your roots, your words that you hear direction from, are rooted in God, right? Because there are so many different perspectives, so many different voices out there in the world, but there's comfort that we have that no matter what is going on out there, no matter what is trying to be, you know, infringed upon from there, we know that God is the root, God is the source, God is the final say so, right? Because those two become one, and we have to have that same mindset, right? So also, the last one that I'm gonna give, and I'm gonna get into some specifics because, you know, I feel like the recipe worked out there, but we want to know, we want to know that we have somebody that is willing to be a team player. And that can mean what that means in your particular home, right? In some cases, you know, the thought is, oh, we want somebody that is submissive, we want a submissive woman. Right? To each his own. But at the end of the day, I think the team player is the overall arching idea that we love. Team player means I know my part, you know your part, we do what we do, even if sometimes we need to make adjustments, you know, whatever the reason is. She may cook at one point, I may not. She may need me to cook some things. Okay, we'll figure that out and see how that works out. But just being a team player, right? Not being so stuck on a way or stuck to your way that you're willing to be open to the way. And the way is when the two become one and come up with what works best for them. And, you know, and the other parts will actually add to that being great. Being non-judgmental, being supportive, being loving will add to that part of being a team player and being able to hear from God. Will add for the point of being a team player, because those things will help create a foundation that is unshakable, unbreakable, unmovable, okay? So those are different things that I believe that men want. Now, let's get into the specific things, because I will say, based off of my life experience as well as conversations with other husbands, I would say that a large part, right? So this is gonna get fun, but a large part of what a man wants, quite honestly, is where he is at the moment. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna run that back. Largely, what a man wants is in large part to where he is at the moment. And that means what that means. It is what it is, right? And so let me just break it down to give you more practical approach to it, right? So when I was in college, I had the idea that I wanted to get married, but I mean, I'm in college right now. Like, there's opportunities and possibilities, and I'm exploring, right? I'm dating women, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I'm in college. This is what you do. So that's just where I was. I was just dating. I was dating around, having a good time, as I thought, and just doing what dating people do, right? I wasn't locked in on being married. So boom, transition out of that. and to the latter part of my schooling for undergrad, and I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying, I'm ready to get married. Why? Because I was in an environment where I was in church, and that environment, marriage was encouraged. And large part, I had accepted my calling to preach, right? And what I saw there was that a lot of preachers had the ability to sing. And so they sang before they gave the message. And if they weren't real good singers, then their wives would sing before they gave the message. And I was like, oh snap. There's no voice there. So I need to find a spouse. So I started locking in. That's where I was at the point. I started locking in. I need to find a spouse, right? That can sing. So that was like, boom, in a nutshell. A Christian woman, a godly woman that can sing. That is all I was looking for. And those opportunities came. But nonetheless, that's just where I was, right? And then those relationships did not work out. It wasn't what God had for me. Great women, wouldn't take anything from them in that respect, but just wasn't the spouse that God had for me, right? But then I transitioned out of that and I went into seminary school, and I had the mindset that I was going to go into the military, so I wanted to have a military wife. Why? Because it was somebody that can understand how it goes, right? We know that we're going to have to move here, move there, do this, do that, and I felt like that was what I, was going to be. So my parameters were set. So I went to seminary school with the idea that this is what it's going to be. And so, it is what it is. But then I came in contact with Crystal at the first week of seminary school, and things changed, right? It changed because I knew overall, right? So let me give you this point. Overall, where I was is that I wanted to travel around the world, teaching and sharing God's love. That's what it was. And in my home, I grew up in a military home. And so a lot of people in my family went into the military, my mom, my dad, my uncles, aunts, things like that. And so that is how I felt like I would be able to travel around the world. Then I met Crystal. So the purpose part was strong. The way in which I was gonna go about it, that was me, right? And so I met Crystal, and she was like, nah, I travel around the world, I do missions. I was like, oh, for real? Like, you travel around the world, like, teaching and sharing God's love? Yeah, I just do it as a missionary. Wait, what? What's a missionary? So I knew about missionaries, but I didn't really know one to ask questions. And so when she started sharing what she did, it dawned on me, oh, snap. That is essentially what I am supposed to be doing, what I want to do, what I believe God would have for me to do. And so locked in then. We were locked in from a purpose standpoint, but then a life application standpoint, but in a greater scheme where I was at the time standpoint. And it just blossomed and bloomed from there. And then out of it, I knew I wanted to do some businesses. I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and she had those desires as well. Boom, connection. So in large part, what am I saying? The great thing about life is that life will speak to us, and we'll know as godly individuals what our life use application, things that we'll do will be. And men, we like to latch on and be with somebody that can be a part of that team. We don't want frustration. We don't want arguments. We don't want confusion. And those things come when I'm supposed to be doing a thing. You feel like you're supposed to be doing another thing, and I don't even do lesser than or greater than, but you're just doing something totally different, and we don't see how those things can meet. That brings an instant, I don't know about this. Now, I'm saying all those things to say, don't shift who you are for who you want to be with. Be true to who you are, because you'll be frustrated, women. You'll be frustrated in your situation if you try to bend who you are to be with who you want to be. But be true to who you are so you can enjoy each and every day that you have life, but then are in that marriage, right? In that relationship and having a godly, ordained marriage, okay? So I gave you some characteristics, but then I gave you some applicational truth, which is in large part, the godly woman that a man wants is one that aligns with who he is supposed to be. So if you want a little cheat code, women, in your first date, second date, really first date, first conversation, I mean, I don't know, whatever, you fill it out. You know the person that you're talking to. Ask them, what are you here to do? What do you believe your life assignment is? What do you believe your purpose is? What do you believe your destiny calls for? What do you believe you were here to do? And let that be the guide and the barometer to know whether I should keep on with this conversation or if I should stop. because this is not for me. So I hope this was helpful, ladies, and even for the men, man, I hope I was able to say some things that clarify some thoughts that you may have had, or if anything, you know, solidify or confirm different things that you've been having going on. So with those things being said, I love you all. I appreciate you all. Please let me know in the comment section if this was helpful. If it was, please share it with somebody else. Click that thumbs button as well, because I mean it just helps to get this video out more. But then also too, any question that you all have, Crystal puts that email in the description and all those different things so that you can reach out to us. And if you want her to answer, you want me to answer, you want us to answer it, let us know. And I'm here for it. I'm here for you all, okay? I'm excited about different things that we have going on with us. I can't say too much. I don't want it to be the spoiler. I will let Crystal do that. But nonetheless, just know great things are in store, great people in this year and the years to come. So whenever you find this video, I pray that this information was beneficial to you. But then as well, I'm excited for the things that we will have available to help you on your journey to being married, okay? And so with that being said, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for staying tuned thus far. That means you cool with me, all right? And until next time, peace.